My next show.
Of course. But we need to show some respect and make some noise in the building because Megaman is in the house. Jeez. Wow. Wow.
Love Target. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. Like I mentioned just now, we've been doing this in-depth thing since the beginning of the year, and as soon as I was like making my list of guys I wanted to get in, guys and girls, artists, producers, whatever, people have to have like a certain amount of history. Not to say that we're not going to be sitting down with some of the newer artists as well, but it was like, I need Megaman. I have to have Megaman. It has to be there. Like, he's got to be in like the first couple of weeks as well, because the story, the legacy, the things that have been achieved, like, I know people know about it, but I'm not sure that people really know the in-depthness of it.
Yeah.
So tonight, we're going to do our best to kind of just go back in time, as well as looking forward, and just touch on as much of it as possible, man. You've had an incredible career today.
It's been crazy because I've done a lot of interviews like on the history of like So Solid and how it started. And today I want to go a little bit more deeper.
This is why I knew that
a little bit more into the mind.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, because like I've watched your interviews. I've seen you like across the years. I've watched documentaries on So Solid. I've followed the journey as well, and even knowing you in the capacity I've known you for like it's like 15 years plus now, bruv. It's crazy. It's like I need to sit down and just touch on a couple of subjects and really get into the mind of where things really started and how you managed to set this up. And I don't think people really understand. The younger end of the audience may not even understand the importance of what was going down back in the years like 2000 and 2001. But I'm going to start this by going even further back than that. I want to take it back to like Battersea and like Clapham Junction and that whole area in southwest London.
You know what it was like? Wiley said it right, and that's how I'm going to start this off, because he's saying that a lot of producers at that time were musicians.
Yeah.
Now I say that because our parents grew up in schools which that was their music time. It was a lot of instruments. It was a lot of steel pans, bass guitars, saxophone, trumpets. So our parents grew up knowing musical notes, nearly understanding that, because their parents were just maybe jazz players and really doing live stuff. But our generation came up just off the edge of that. So we still had steel pans in school. Bass guitar, I played bass guitar, saxophone, the drums, but I never went into it on a notes basis. It was
just
almost
like a jamming vibe.
Let me just get away from the maths class, so I'm getting music. You know what I mean? Let me get away from doing art, so I'm getting music. And it was one of those, it tended, in our generation, it tended to be an outlet to get away from something that we didn't like.
Yeah.
So, he's right on that basis. And just growing up and different sounds. When we was growing up, we was listening to Motown, a lot of revival, a lot of jazz, a lot of different sounds. So let's forward a little bit. I don't even want to forward a bit. Let me hold on to that part. Because when we was in school, like I was explaining to you off here, when we was in school, we really used to like singing.
Yeah.
So from the age of like 5 right up to the age of 11, we was writing our little songs.
So we're talking like really like more or less as soon as you could write.
As soon as we could write and know music and sounds and that, like we was writing our songs. We used to like go and buy the same jeans and the same shirts, primary school days. Yeah. And the Metropolitan Police used to do like police discos, so we used to dance and all of that. So at that stage, there was like Teddy Riley, Aaron Hall, the New Jack Swings, Heavy D's, the Fat Boys.
That had us all running, man, like crazy, bro.
We was listening to that on the TV, but it was something that we still done in the playground or in like the dance community centers when we had like competitions and stuff like that. So just growing up in that era made me feel that I could be a singer. You know what I mean? It's not really a rapper, but I could be a singer. So I tried to go for that singing route at first. You know what I mean? And
I guess, you know, around that time, there wasn't really a direct influence, a rapper you could kind of look up to who was immediately like from the UK as such.
Not the big really. America, you had Money Love, you had certain people, but their culture wasn't here yet.
Yeah.
Their culture, whatever they was doing on the streets, low riding, Cadillacs, it wasn't similar. Now they're wearing European clothes, European cars. It's a lot different. So when we was growing up, we was listening to that, graffiti, spray graffiti on clothes, you know, big earrings,
Crisscross
usual stuff,
dropping.
but it was more UK style. You know what I mean?
Did you ever go through the crisscross phase of trying to put your
The
clothes on
crisscross
backwards?
phase, it didn't really work. Unless it's like you're doing a video or doing a performance somewhere, you can pretend to be crisscross somewhere. You're like, you're naff or, you know what I mean? Those sort of clothes. So just forwarding, coming up, like listening to a lot of drum and bass, jungle, in awe of like people like MC Det, Skibber D, DJ Brook, Nicky Black Market, Stevie Hyper D, rest in peace Stevie Hyper D, Charlie Brown, rest in peace Charlie Brown. Just coming up in that era, because garage and jungle rays were almost together. If it wasn't Telepathy, Designer Label, Ball, Roast.
Most of them had like...
Most events like Sun City, Liberty, you always had like a garage jungle room, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or R&B sort of room. So all of those rays are together. And when we was first going to garage, it was really singy.
Yeah.
It was really like a way out of the hood, a way out of the grime where I could just go to a rave, chill in the corner and just
smile and like...
listen to some Tina Moore.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And just get into that whole side of it. And after a while, we just felt like it was a real just... blood, man.
like some real legendary moments, man.
Yeah,
those days.
I want to be creative. I want to try something, and this is like we were teenagers still. We were teenagers going to raves, getting in problems in the streets, just small little problems like bottle fights and that. Anything that when I grew up as a teenager, right up to the age of like first going to Jerem Feltham, everything was baby. It was like fun. You go to a rave and you'll fight someone from another end. It was all baby food. So
nothing
it wasn't
too serious.
There was no beef. It was like. It was like fun, and we used to go out to want to fight at parties after, get drunk and that. Yeah, leave the girl alone. Gappy Dean and Darren used to be the troublemakers. Mac and G-Man used to be the people that used to give the fight or punch without people knowing who it was.
you had like a whole task force.
A majority of the time, Chaos, Mega, and all of that would get blamed for it. Maniac would get blamed for stuff, and that's Mac. So it was crazy those times. And what started to tweak my mind was, after a while, you started to hear different styles of garage.
We're gonna talk about where things started to go left, because like you mentioned, it was very much led by female vocals. It's almost like the raves were catering for a female audience.
It was house and garage.
Exactly.
Let's not separate that, because the reason why when garage started to get its trouble, everyone started to separate and do house. This is funky house. Oh, this is house.
One thing.
This is pop. This is that. House and garage is what we listen to. So now people are just calling it UKG or garage. Yo,
exactly.
Bring that back.
A record that we both spoke about before, and like heavily influenced me to get into garage. I know like had the same effect on you, man. Was Architects remix of an R&B record that was big in this country at the time as well. Brandy and Monica.
Round of applause.
The Boy Is Mine. Like,
crunch time.
I'm gonna join in on this one.
This is crunch time.
If I hadn't heard this record, things might have been different. Megaman's in the building. We're celebrating. Like just hearing this record, hearing the record on air, it still brings back that same memory, that same feeling. This is one of those early records that proper
started to happen, man. That's when we started to recognize,
and even like the bass line, you could start think, hang on a minute, this bass line's right up my street, Definitely, bro. And a lot of people don't even know that was the Architects who went on to produce Body Groove, which ended up being like a #1 smash hit single just a few years later. If you're just tuning in, Megaman, the legend is in the building. We're in depth, man. We're having like literally an in-depth chat and just looking back at the moment. We're at the moment where UK Garage was introduced to Megaman, as it was to myself as well. And
started to go to the raves, bro. Started to go to the raves. Started to hear these remixes.
What was it like being in that environment for the first time, seeing it?
It was just a whole load of bad boys from South London, a whole load of girls, and everybody from every ends that didn't like each other was in one corner. Because there was elders like Appy and those guys that would just look after everybody in the club and just share love and spread love. And he was from like Peckham sides, you know what I mean? African guy. And He just had a lot of places on Smash, so R.I.P. Appy. And there was a lot of older figures like that would always come around and just make sure that the division is set in the race. Because like I said, it weren't beef.
Yeah, it was.
You know what I mean?
It was like
it wasn't serious.
It was almost like a flowery environment. It was so happy, and people were drinking champagne,
and
wearing
all of that.
shirts and shoes and whatnot.
Maybe a few people were serious, but the raves didn't really have it in like that. It was like South London was South London, man. It was a different vibe, man. So when I started to hear those sounds, and then I started to hear bashment artists on Garage, and then I started to hear instrumentals that were darker than the darkest blood. Some of those instrumentals that DEA, Master Steps, there we go.
Master Steps melody was like
it's bad. It just put the icing on the cake. So the calculating started from there.
It was almost like potential MCs heard beats like this and thought, hang on a minute, there's no female vocal, there's no like hosting going on over the track. It's a hard instrumental with like a sick bass line.
This is like So Solid's Dilemma and Busta Rhymes. Give me some more.
Mad. And this is literally one of those rhythms that first was getting spat over, lyrics, bars in those garage raves. Put a bass line on it.
Round of applause, Master Steps.
Salute Master Steps, bro.
Round of applause, Master Steps.
And like you said, there was
garage
tracks
producers, get back and make some new production,
Trust me.
Because there's a lot of young singers out here, which I know you guys can actually school and make some real songs out of. So get some new production out here. Let's do this. So this is the point where I said, I know hip hop. I know these sounds. These guys are making music and sampling different styles from other people. Are they allowed to do? Right, we can do this.
Like you can actually fuse like genres together and stuff.
So like getting a little bit older, understanding like going to jail, coming out, and then understanding, I'm gonna build this crew thing. Like seeing Diddy on TV, take David Bowie's instrumentals and that.
Crazy. Putting
R.I.P.
Biggie on
David
it.
Bowie. Put Biggie in that and start crashing that. Can't nobody take my. I'm like, we're doing that here. We're doing that here.
That sounds like it was like a light bulb moment for you.
It was a real light bulb moment. It was a real just a moment where I said all my dreams of what I wanted to be as a little singer or a little rapper, dance, box splits, all the Teddy Riley moments, Diana Ross, right to the Temptations, right back down. Like, I can try something now. I used to go to the raves and be in awe of PSGs. I used to want to wait till PSG came on the mic, Creed and DT,
Crazy.
CKP, all of them come on the mic and go mad. I used to wait for EZ. Yeah, Viper was kind of like my generation. Kind of.
He was kind of like
he was the sickest lyrical MC, untouchable. Nobody can touch him today.
It's mad.
That's Viper.
Mad.
Nobody can touch
Viper
Viper
was
today.
Crazy.
Him, Precious, Be Live, nobody can really touch them lyrically today. So if they was in the mix of what the hype is right now, they'd be untouchable. You know what I mean? But like just listening to those guys and being in awe of them and saying, I always wanted to be on the stage looking that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was just the time where I said, all right, they're mixing hip hop and R&B and everything with garage. No rappers yet.
Crazy.
Yeah, let's do it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then instrumentals like this. I remember being in Coliseum around that same time when, like the Master Steps record was out, other certain instrumentals were dropping. Wookie had his early instrumentals. Yeah. Like the likes of the Vipers and those guys were starting to drop like
we had a lot of like division on Supreme FM.
Yeah.
So when we started to make beats, like Living Legends was Neutrino. Not even Oxide yet.
Yeah.
Neutrino, Big Kid. Yeah.
Wow, remember Big Kid?
Yeah, Big Kid, who's his younger brother that's tearing up the Super. What's his name again?
Oh wow, I didn't even know there was
His younger brother's tearing it up right now, man. I'll remember his name before the show's done, cause I gotta hail him out, man. Yeah. He's a big DJ still. And Big Kid, Billy the Kid, and Neutrino.
Wow.
That was Living Legends, and Neutrino made Dilemma with like the assistance of Big Kid. You know what I mean? And,
this record, bro. Like I remember DJ EZ really championing this, and people was even calling it at first. Oh, that rhythm that EZ plays, the EZ tune.
Because we had to go in. We went into the raves and we gave them the first ever copies before we started to print them up.
Yeah.
So we gave them the first copies from Oh No to Martin Lana, who was running a night called Liberty.
I remember it well.
Yeah, and Dilemma to EZ, because he had that sort of sound.
Yeah.
When you heard EZ come on, it was crazy. So those two tunes kind of broke us into the clubs, and those two DJs were pinnacle in actually taking a song from us on the night and playing it there and then, and just shutting down South
I suppose
London.
that was kind of like the equivalent of making a sick tune now and uploading it on YouTube for everyone to listen to. Like, you'd literally like just have to turn up to the rave with a dub plate version of it somehow and have it played out to an audience.
Yeah. I mean, like South London was like the home of garage to me.
Yeah.
Because from Adrenaline Village right up to Coliseum, you had Channel Club, you had Imperial Gardens, and you can go to Bagley's, and that was neutral ground.
Do you know what's crazy?
You know what I mean?
Like,
Bagley's was neutral ground. If you went to like Tottenham, it was drum and bass, Club UN,
Temple and UN, yep.
Tim Westwood, hip hop, whatever, you know what I mean? And then if you went to Stratford Rex, it was Telepathy, you know what I mean? Those
do you know
sort
what's
of raves,
crazy,
a lot of those
though?
raves are going
like
on.
every single club you just mentioned, every single one of them doesn't exist anymore.
It's mad. It's mad. It's mad.
It's
all
mad.
gone. So it's like those were the vibes, and when we just grew up in the middle of all of that. So when you broke a tune in the clubs in Adrenaline Village or Coliseum was the home to Twice as Nice.
Yeah.
It was the home to Liberty on a Friday, Twice as Nice on a Sunday, jam.
Super jam. I
Madness
remember
every
like,
night.
And Exposure as
Cleaning
well.
up Exposures. Used to do the monthly. Garage Nation done their monthlies. Garage Delight, which was our rave, we done our monthlies. And we done like 3 events in Coliseum. And then La Cosa Nostra done an event there as well. But that was like the home of where like, raw, if you're the thing, you're in this club, you're on that stage and you're tearing it down. And that's what helped us to grow. And that's why we had to hire a lot of our dad's friends, who was Russ and security man, to look after the door, so we can clean up a little bit as teenagers and, you know what I mean, late teenagers, and come through the game.
Now, like, the setup was kind of there, you know, the early inspirations. You'd found this UK garage sound that had started to have, you know, different lanes to it, and one of those lanes was definitely MCK. Then you had this whole kind of idea to come up with this crew. Like, where did the recruitment process start for So Solid? Were you just like,
I think
let me just grab the local man them?
Way back, my grandma always telling me, Sheehan, never leave Dwayne. Dwayne, never leave Sheehan. Sheehan, Dwayne, look after Perry. Now, Perry is Pierre, innit?
Yeah.
But my grandma couldn't say it properly because she had dentures in more time. So look after Perry. Perry. Yeah, so we just grew up like that. And then when we grew up in the housing estate in between Badrick Court and Winstanley, so we was growing up in the house. Everyone was growing up in flats
like
and
Battersea,
that.
people
Battersea,
don't know.
Clapham Junction, all the same ends, home of Moni Love, and you know what I mean, the rest is history. But yeah, like home to OJB. Shout out all my young G's. OJB, Clue, Reaps, Score, Scheme, all of them. They're doing their thing. But yeah, and but how we grew up like that, our grandma just said, look after each other. Take care of each other from school upwards. And I done that with nearly all of the friends that I felt were like not cool. All the friends that I felt were not, because I still had to go to church certain times. I still had to play out with the guys right outside the house, because my grandma used to say, if you go anywhere from right outside the house, you're getting beats. So I grew up with stiff beats because we had to play runouts, and we can't just do that outside the house. You know what I mean? So
like lots of people,
we grew up as real kids, you know, real kids, adventure playground, playing out with just football,
literally,
real
like,
sports. If you watch something
the
on
football
TV
with the peeling panels coming
right,
off.
if you watch TV, you went outside and you done athletics.
Yeah.
If you watched athletics on TV,
If you
you
watched
went outside.
Karate Kid, you went
outside and you
karate.
started to
Exactly,
right.
bro.
The Goonies, you did the same thing.
Bro,
so
don't say
I had a
Goonies to
lot
me,
of
I'm
like
gassed.
I had a lot of like white geeky friends on the estate that grew up in school with and grew up on the estate. And as we went to other areas, it was always like, nah, leave that youth, man. I grew up with him. Lives across the road from my grandma.
Yeah.
My grandma to beat me. Bro. You know, like, so little things like that I had to kind of like.
Big
So
up Bradley,
all
man.
through school, I had to. I had the outlook of like I didn't like bullies. I didn't like bad boys just for the sake of like humiliating people.
Yeah.
If you turned bad because you've been troubled in your life. You know what I mean? You've got a problem in your house.
Yeah.
And it's really offending you, and you've come out and you've turned bad. I'll talk to you and we'll try and flip something. And I feel like everybody who I've come across in my life in the streets, I've actually helped to do that. And if people didn't speak to me from whatever area, You know what I mean? They could have, and I would have gave them the same advice that I gave these Tottenham guys and these West London guys and Double O, Slim Ting, when I gave them their record deal when I was young. You know what I mean? Like, the advice we gave each other back then.
Days, man.
And now I'm seeing Double O, he runs the Sun City, Slim Ting's doing movies. You know what I mean? These guys are they're really taking on different advice that we gave each other back then and moving forward. It just started from there. The second time was the dream. Like, letting go of my opportunities, going to jail for the first time, it was my first heartbreaking moment. You know what I mean?
That must have been, like, for anyone who's incarcerated or has been, like, it's almost like you're being, a pause button's been pressed on you.
Yeah. And like, it's the person that I went to prison, it wasn't, listen, I got into things on road that wasn't about being gang affiliated. It wasn't like just going outside and you trouble my brother, you trouble the cousin of mine, and you're older than my brothers or cousins. I have to defend my brothers and my cousins because grandma told you, me, bruv. Like the beats I'm getting at home is worse than anything that someone can give me out on road. The licks that my dad's gonna give me is worse than anything that anybody can give me out on road. So when I went out, I was hard-skinned and hard-headed. You know what I mean? So it was more that confronting situations. Obviously, the situation wasn't what the person made out to be because he lied a lot in court and stuff like that as to why I'm here today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was my first heartbreaking moment. In Feltham, no radio, no TV. You had to clean your cell, military.
Crazy.
You had to fold your bed pack every morning, military. So when you're in jail at 17 and you have to wake up and do all the things that you didn't want to do for your grandma, to clean up the yard, you had to do it in jail, and that was crazy for me.
Now, if you know, like, you made it through that sentence, you came out, So Solid was set up. It wasn't.
I didn't even get sentenced.
Oh wow! So you
not
got,
guilty.
You got
I have
off,
no
basically.
violent
Not
criminal convictions,
so
guys. I'm putting it out there because people always think like Mega, these bad boys, all of that. I didn't have fear for people that was just bad and rough. I wanted to just share business with them. I understood where they were coming from and we wanted to make money. You know what I mean? And I had to adopt an attitude of defense. And some people saw that as me being the bad boy. Some people see that as my vibe being a bit distant because people didn't want to talk to me. I was screw-faced the whole time. I had crazy money, crazy things going on, and I was just vexed it looked like I was vexed the whole time. But I wasn't, so it's just more of that and me just understanding that, like, we can help a lot more situations if man just think that, look, Mega, no violent convictions. He's been freed, not guilty from every case. You know what I mean? And when I came out that time, I just said, look, we're gonna do this hustling this way. We're gonna try it this way. And whatever plans my friends had, Carton, G-Man, Morgan, whatever my friends had as singers, and I just looked at bits and pieces of what they was good at, and I said, we've got to try something together. So it was a crew on the streets, you know what I mean, doing a little bit of hustling, and then the crew in the music radio station, building the radio station, then the crew of us doing the raves, helping to build that. And it was just always teams moving up.
And before long, it wasn't long, it wasn't very long at all. I literally remember hearing the record for the first time. Not only that, I remember receiving an invite to a premiere for a video at Brixton Ritzy Cinema. And at the time,
the Ritz Cinema in Leicester Square.
Oh, sorry, Leicester Square.
Prince Albert.
I'm not going to lie. I saw that invite and I kind of thought, what? An invite to a video premiere?
It's a thing where, like when we made that song from the back of Oh No, like nobody understood where it was coming from.
Yeah.
So it's like, I always wanted, like I said, I'm being inspired from overseas because everyone here is just not trying hard enough. They're not really understanding the difference between EastEnders and Dallas. You know what I mean?
And there was a huge difference.
They're not understanding the difference of what different countries are showing their people.
Of course.
Their people on TV. One country showing their people, there's oil, horses, big mansions.
And we've got Alan.
And EastEnders is showing us Kathy and, you know what I mean? And,
Ian getting mugged off
and
every
Brookside
night.
is showing us Brookside and stuff. So I was like, look, I had to be inspired. So coming into the label, I just thought labels were meant to turn people into stars. You know, this is, when you're signed, it's a life-changing opportunity.
Yeah.
So my vision of what we done before, I didn't understand in how empowering it was and how new it was to the music industry here. Because I already thought they get it because it's been happening in the States. 5 times over. Master P, Dre, all of them. You know what I mean?
Did you know you were going to be the first of a whole new wave of guys coming through those buildings, man.
So that song came about because like Oh No only had 3 people on it. The whole streets knew who So Solid was growing, but they was only targeting, and I was getting bookings, so I only saw like Romeo, Mega.
It's
Asher,
true.
Romeo, Mega.
This was like the proper introduction to the rest of the team as well.
What's going on? We're only getting bookings for Romeo, Mega, so me and Romeo had to step back. You know what I mean? And then just share the bookings with Harvey and Asher. That's how they got into the club scene. And like, the label said, look, all right, we've done a little bit of hiccup on Oh No, that's the word. You was persistent, Mega. You wanted an extra tune on there. I listened to ya. We got it a bit wrong. Let's go again. But here, what? 3.5 minutes. Wow. You know what I mean? So, yeah, must have went back to the guys. I can't remember what I actually done, but I had to relay that back to the guys. You know what I mean? In the So Solid meetings. Every Sunday after we had radio station, we had our So Solid meetings at the office. And just understanding family, I had my cousin, my sister, all of them running the office. You know what I mean? I had a friend of mine called Omar. He's a Somalian guy that grew up with my father's football team and my uncle's football team.
Oh, wow.
And I had him working in the office. So I had to pay them full wages every month to run that office there. You know what I mean? So those things were happening. And like, they said, look, G-Man, he's the money guy. I admired him from the streets because he used to iron his money and have it stacked in like...
Them classic ones there.
Yeah, like, bro, it's like even when I say to people how much money he was making per week, like, we was getting boxes for free.
Crazy.
There was so much things in town, we was getting it for free, so majority of it was consignment money, and then like we would chop off like 3-4 grand off for each, you know what I mean? And if we was gonna... And that's how there was crazy money on the streets.
Crazy.
But the way how we was living in it, it wasn't, we didn't see forehand what was the biggest whip to get or what was the, you know what I mean? We was watching EastEnders.
You know what?
It's EastEnders.
We're going to come back right in a minute and talk about...
EastEnders had us living on the blocks still.
We're going to talk about...
with big
the
record
whips.
deals, bro.
We're going to talk about the whole transition. We have to play this record.
These songs didn't show us penthouses, man.
We have to play this record, man.
All right, let's go.
2001, it was the #1 single in the UK.
Yeah.
First 21 second, no ain't got no time to smoke this, hold this. Yo G, go by in a black top TT. Megaman, camera 2, it's easy. Seeing stars on the wrist, they wanna jap me, say come step to me. The last thing that you saw was icy. Say 91 seconds.
I remember being in Iron Napa as well. Like, I think it was like the weekend after this went #1, and you lot was all out there in the legendary club Insomnia at the time.
Yeah.
And I just remember like about 20 bottles of champagne getting opened by you lot, and you just pouring them on the floor and dancing on top of the, gliding on the champagne, bro. It was
like, you know what? Let's touch quickly on this Premier thing. Yeah, 21 seconds. Like the Premier thing happened, it was big because it was a defining moment. Nobody liked the song. It wasn't, radio didn't want to play it. The main DJs were against it. So Solid in the clubs and our Garage Light thing was causing a bit of issues and stir in the garage scene and stuff. And it was like, I don't want to support these guys. That's what garage was about. The main heads, you know what I mean? I love them all today anyway. And like the label had the idea, Glyn and Shabs from Relentless had the idea. And we had to invite everybody, maybe A&R, press, MDs, everybody in the industry, rival labels, rival PR companies, rival radio pluggers. You are all invited to this premiere. So it was an industry invite,
and this wasn't a thing that
was
happened
maybe like
at the time. This was a brand like not like today where people do listenings, parties, and video. This was unheard of.
This was unheard of, and it was a proper invite. Pulled out the red carpet, everybody came down, and it was like munchies before, and then boom. Came up, said my speech, played the video.
Mad.
Bro.
Like, but I was getting phone calls I wasn't there. Do you know what?
Bro.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought, why am I gonna go all the way to West End to watch someone's video? And then I was getting calls like, bruv, why are you here, bruv? You missed out, it's mad.
That video dropped. It's like, I felt like we done it for the whole industry.
It was crazy.
Like every record, everybody in there was applauding, like they was happy that we've done it, that we have a video that can stand worldwide. Street guys spitting English on a garage type beat, fucking bigger than Wu-Tang.
Apologies for any language there.
Sorry for my swearing. Bigger than Wu-Tang Clan, and we just shut it down.
mad.
It was crazy. Sorry for my language, guys.
Mad. And like, you know what? It was kind of the massive
Yeah.
domino that kicked off the huge domino effect that led to, you know, a platinum album, number one single,
And
smash hits,
just from then,
tours,
people was getting offered the right deals, man.
documentaries. Speaking of documentaries, actually, this will take you back a little bit.
The So Solid crew are the most talked about and controversial musicians of the 21st century. They've gone from kings of UK garage to kings of UK pop. Platinum selling, multi-award winning, and the most innovative thing to happen to the music business for 20 years. But in the eyes of much of the press, they're also the most notorious group in Britain. Constantly associated with urban violence and gun crime. This is the truth behind the hype.
When they listen to our music, they just hear it, gun, kill. You get me? Drugs, weed. Listen to what we're talking about. Why?
The So Solid story told in the crew's own words. Who they are,
Some people are here now and when prison come out, I made a change in their life.
where they come from,
It's just the streets of South London. Remember that.
and what they're really all about.
We've just literally grown up together and had all the same desires about music and then brung it out.
This is where it begins and won't ever end.
Like, the name can never die. The Soul Solid name could never die.
I am prepared for you.
Wow.
See what Lisa said there? That's resonated me for every time I look back on that. It's just kept me going. Like, even when I listen to that intro, it's kept me going because what we done, I wanted everybody to do it. You know what I mean? Like, when we was trying to sign people to labels and when labels were calling us about, you guys, well, I think it was Dizzy Rascal first, and I think Dizzy went to another label. And they signed Roll Deep. I think they signed, signed Roll Deep.
There was like Pay As You Go,
Champagne
obviously,
Dance, Pay As You Go.
originally,
Pay As You Go. That's it. They signed Pay As You Go, and it was all of that. And when we was getting the calls in the business, it was like, yeah. Today it might be a bit different, but I just felt it can happen 10 times over because everybody was getting it in America.
Yeah.
R&B singers, rappers, they was all getting it, and like just transcending that. Whenever So Solid came about, on holiday, Ayia Napa, wherever we went,
it was a
free
shutdown,
bar, get in for free bar, mopeds paid for, flights paid. Like, we just wanted everybody to have fun. Like, we wanted everybody to just experience what this is about. And what I was seeing in Coliseum for those moments when we was chilling in the corner, Brixton, Peckham Junction, just having a dance, and they used to tell me, Mega, go on the mic.
Yeah.
Mega, go on the mic. All these guys that we would necessarily not agree with outside the clubs. I would say, go on the mic. See, when I touch the mic, and I'm like, oopsie days. And I'm like, I know, man. And she come ahead. And that is when the man them go mad in the corner.
Yeah, crazy.
So, like, that's when, like, promoters were like, you lot better book these guys next, otherwise we're not coming to your next event. So it was the streets of South London really made the DJs and really made the clubs and really made the raves because we packed out everywhere. We travelled to every part of London, and we was mainly the loudest in most nightclubs.
Yeah, it was sick.
So it's like, we really just brought that energy everywhere and just tried to transcend that right from the streets, right to the screens. We didn't want to change the look. You know what I mean? We was wearing Moschino, Patrick Cox, Versace's, Rolexes. That was all. My boys in school had Versace Grand shirts.
Crazy.
P. Diddy were posing in that years after in videos.
Crazy.
And I'm like, this is normal to the streets. So when we got into music, we used to wanted to wear different clothes. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we was wearing all those Moschinos and Versace's in the clubs. It's old to us here. So when we got into on the TV screen, I wanted a suit. You know what I mean? The only thing I kept was the bowler hat.
I was just about to ask you.
The bowler hat was a real certified gangster thing on the road. If he was a certified youth like Ratu from Northwest, if he was a certified youth from West London, like certain man East, certain certified real dons wear a bowler hat. But the history of a bowler hat is like a British businessman. You know what I mean? You're about your business.
Yeah.
And that's what the real G's
most
about.
Definitely was as well, man.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to keep that symbol and represent that right through. You know what I mean? As to what I was doing. So whatever clothes I was wearing, Average jacket, bowler hat.
Yeah.
Versace bowler hat.
Sick. Like, even to
bowler
this
hat,
day,
you know what
like,
I mean?
look at Gets' rhythm. Like, up to like the other day, Megaman's back.
Yeah, I'm the hat
TT
guy.
Megaman's
I'm the hat guy. Look, Kango, I'm bringing Kango back, bro. You know
but
what I mean?
you know what? Like we've been talking as well recently because the Brit nominations were announced just this week or whatever, and everybody's really excited this year because it feels like there's been a breakthrough, bro. But
there we go.
Let's go back 15 years.
Oh, jeez, man.
You lot were at the Brits in 2002, nominated for Best Breakthrough.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that just like it was yesterday as well. And feeling proud, even though like I had my own stuff going on. We was all the way over in East London, but just seeing like,
bro, we had to try hard. Like sometimes, like what we done can come across as egotistical, as it happened back then, or but bro, like we had to try hard to prove that street music was something to be reckoned with in the UK. We had to try hard, whatever was being seen to be, you either had to be a real geek back then or you had to be real hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no in between when you was growing up those times. The streets were 20 times gutter than what was happening. Things were happening, the man were raving next door.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like there was like we had to try hard in this industry to prove that this label that gave us the chance, Relentless, the A&Rs, the MDs that gave us that opportunity, the video directors that helped us direct such groundbreaking videos, we had to prove to everybody in the UK that we can stand amongst Elton John. We can stand amongst Madonna, Kylie Minogue, Spice Girls. Our videos and our visuals can look as good as Travis, Cole. You know what I mean? There was a lot of pop bands and rock bands take that. We was up against them.
Crazy.
Their fan base was concrete.
This is like,
they're selling out arenas.
This is
We're still
15 years
supporting
ago.
Eminem and Christina Aguilera. These guys are selling out arena tours worldwide. You know what I mean? And we had to try hard. So that's why I kind of had to focus on getting those visuals right. Getting those visuals to prove not only to our friends, because I didn't want to show off on the streets. The streets can come and do what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's why we linked up with certain certified people and just went on a rampage, because the streets can do what we're doing. So I wanted everybody to kind of like get this break.
Come through this door, man.
Like Dizzy, Wiley, certain people utilized it as a career-changing opportunity.
Yeah.
And then slowly, 2 years, 3 years after that, like the labels didn't want to hand over those big checks anymore.
Yeah,
they didn't want to do.
We're going to
those big
talk about
videos
that
anymore,
because
you know
there was a 2, 3, 4 year period when you know, especially after you lot came through and smashed it, like you made it better. People like ourselves that we went and got a nice deal off the back
so
of you
solid,
lot
yeah.
still.
It wasn't just about being bad, because we had to defend. I had to defend a lot of people in our team, and we had to defend a lot of friends around us. It wasn't that. It's just that like when the rave scenes is crumbling and Social is the only people to be blamed, everybody sees it as their opportunity, and the public sees it as let's slow this shit down. Like let's slow this thing down. I don't really like what's going on there. You know what I mean?
It was definitely like it was a scapegoat thing, man.
Yeah, it was a real
doubt.
scapegoat thing, you know what I mean? And it was like one set of label and publishers was earning for the whole time. One set of ends and certain other ends was the only ones going on with a certain certified stuff on the road. And Iron Apple was taken over for way too long.
Yeah.
And causing
it's like people were like, they wanted you to win, but then you won like too much.
Too much.
A little bit too much.
A little bit too much. So it was like, it was time to kind of like, you know what, let's not give them the support and see where their mind's at. Let's teach them a lesson and just see where their mind's at. And the staying power is like you calling me still today. And what we done back then, the staying power has stood the test of time, because it's very difficult to, with this business over here, to do that again.
Very hard.
It's been very difficult. And I'm one of those people where I've been angry with this business because we need a lot more people becoming real millionaires off of this business so that we can affect our communities properly.
Without a
and
doubt,
buy
man.
streets in our communities.
Without a
and
doubt.
invest in charities properly and make a change properly. It's like the musicians in the UK are being starved, like from the real financial gain, like less than the pop artists. You know what I mean?
True,
and like pop artists are being made, but in America hip hop artists are being made and R&B artists are being made. So why can't we just make Like, why can't we see an act instead of just waiting for them to prove their sales and prove their hype? And just sign them and make them and do what they've got to do.
Bro, this is why I had to get you in. I knew we were gonna get that real inspirational talk as well, man.
It's crazy.
This is still one of my favorite videos you lot did.
Dawn, man,
Come
Dawn.
on.
Crazy video director. This lady done this video, 360 something K. She done Kylie Minogue's videos. Dawn, if she's out there somewhere, I salute you for this video.
This was crazy. Like the moment where you ran over Face and he like regenerated back, I was like, I'm done with these. Like, they're
Had my
taking
boy
liberties
Chaos in the video.
They're taking
So much,
liberties
like,
at this point.
I was always putting like real people in the videos. The girls in our videos, most of them we knew those girls. Like the girls that we roll with to parties, they were our girls. The cars that we had in the videos were our cars. So it was just a thing where we just really just wanted to be authentic.
Sick.
Like nothing make believe, you know what I mean? Not hiring penthouses. We didn't really do all of that stuff. We just done it like the street music and straight like, yeah, let's go graphic on this.
Let's have a bit of this, man. So Solid, ride with us.
It's hard to believe the house cost 3 years, 2 million G's. Yo, next time you compare it, we check what you never did, believe in me. Yo.
If you're just joining me, 13 minutes away from 10, DJ Target. We are in depth right about now with Megaman from So
man.
Solid. They're like, time just flies in these conversations because there's so much that we could talk about. Like,
Got to big up Code Steps. Don't forget that. Big up
Shout
Code
to Cold
Steps.
Steps. You said you'd get it before the end of the show
There
as
you
well.
go.
So salute to Cold Steps,
so
man.
salute to Code Steps. And yeah, like I was saying, man, those times were groundbreaking, and like you just get a whole fluctuation of people wanting you there, wanting you at their clubs, wanting you everywhere. And I always thought that I want to be the promoter as well as the artist. I want to be the label guy as well as the artist. I want to be, you know what I mean? You know, like Kenny Dalglish, Liverpool.
Yeah, player manager, bruv. Bang the top corner and pick the team as well.
You never walk alone.
Oh, here we go with all this Liverpool stuff.
Yeah, I'll crop him. Yeah, but
so let's talk about. You know, we spoke about the amazing run that you guys had. The debut album going like double platinum, if not triple platinum. Like I've lost count of where even
I've lost count. You know, I need to order some new plaques, so I'm gonna call up the peoples, get all these new figures
bro.
in.
You
and
wanna
that, and
just line your hallways with that, bro.
Yeah, I got like 10 plaques or something like that.
Crazy.
And then like for the other office, I got like another 6, 7.
It's mad.
So,
it's
yeah,
like this is what, you know, the new wave of MCs, rappers, producers, artists, singer-songwriters, whatever they're doing. I hope you guys are really taking heed because
it's like it frustrates me to say that the only platinum movement, you know, like
it's
as
true.
a business and as a crew, like everybody, you know what I mean? Like the only
it's still been it's been the blueprint. Like
like
to this
Dizzy's
day.
done it individually, you know what I mean? Like Tiny Temper's done it. A lot of people's done it individuals, you know what I mean? And the movements. I really just want to see a collective come through. Business,
With the
all
whole
their
thing.
friends on the tracks, videos. You know what I mean? Transcend that to the vibe. Because
You
it's
can
about
see
bringing in the
now
masses,
that
so.
like the way that people are operating, you can see now that the likes of yourselves, of course, So Solid, have had a huge impact on what people are doing today, how people are looking at it, how people are trying to set up business early and first.
I tell people one thing, bruv, yeah. I had to play every position. I had to starve, be humiliated, whatever it was, feel like I ain't got enough money in my pocket to do what I'm doing. You know what I mean? On the build up to creating that So Solid vibe. You know what I mean? I had to be the producer. You understand what I'm saying? I had to be the engineer. Not even the engineer, because I didn't know how to engineer, but I had to be the radio guy. I had to be the promoter. I had to be the MC. I had to be the agency. I had to be, you know what I mean? I had to know a lot, like off the top of my dome and just run through. So that's what kind of built me to be the person I am. And I'm just trying to do that today.
And what it is as well, like you're still here. Like we're not just talking about things that have happened in the past. Like you're
there's a
still
lot
very
going on,
much.
but
Like we spent so much time talking about like
The past
this
and that,
legacy in this past. Like there's so much going on for you.
I've done
like,
a
in
lot of
2017.
features. I've done a lot of features with Skepta, Wiley, Getz, Young O. Released a bit of music now and again. We've been doing gigs for the whole time, man. Every weekend the guys are out. Every month of the year they're performing somewhere. I like to take 1 or 2 now and again.
Do you know
I
what,
try
though?
and deal with business, cheats and thieves.
Do you know what though?
All of that.
One gig that I went to recently was the Indigo comeback gig, the first one.
Yeah,
bruv.
Like that was orchestrated, like how I really wanted the concert
You know
to
that
be.
I went there hoping and praying that it was wanna,
the same sort of thing we done for Red Bull Sound Clash.
Yeah,
it's like, just make sure you know exactly what we want to play and just run that through and just make sure we just like
you
kill
guys
it, you know
pulled
what I
that
mean?
off like ridiculously. And what was great to see as I looked around, it was like there was all the older heads like from the first wave, and then you also had the new generation, which was great to see. You know, like the generation who was too young to come out raving to So Solid.
And they were there. They were at the front.
Yeah, man.
They were at the front snapping their Snapchats and
all that.
Like you see me now. Look, I ain't brought out my phone once.
Yeah.
I'm like, we need to get back into that era where we're just dealing with reality.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? And we ain't got to show everybody where we're at all the time and just get business done, because a lot of us are speaking and hyping before things are really what it is. And what we're doing, we're misleading the younger generation as to what they can really gain from the business.
Yeah, man.
So when they actually see what the business is about, at first they think the checks are big, whatever, but when they see what the business is about, it can either be disheartening or it could be encouraging. There's no in between.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're here to just make a change, man.
Talking of business, like we just mentioned, 2017, there's business ventures for you happening all over the shop.
I
know
mean,
you've got your
from
brand set up and whatnot.
2013, I linked to my business partner, Alik. He runs a clothing line called Abuse London, top brand, you know what I mean? Doing crazy numbers on ASOS as well. 2013, like Cheats and Thieves was born, and we're doing crazy numbers on ASOS. ASOS is looking after us well, and we're just building comfortably.
Like, it looks like you guys are like really out there, because I know that the clothing
look,
thing.
I'm wearing it. Look, Cheats and Thieves jumper, Cheats and Thieves boxers.
I need to get lined up.
Cheats and Thieves t-shirt.
Yeah, bro. See, like
Abuse London jacket.
The clothing thing is not
Kango hat.
an easy thing to step into. It's expensive.
It's expensive.
It's high risk.
It took a lot of money, and the people who have been behind it. Big up Mikey, great graphic designer. You know what I mean? He deals with everything. Big up Phil, you know what I mean? And big up Alik and everybody that supported us outside of that. Tom, you know what I mean? Just big up Simon. Big up the people that gave us an insight as to how it's done, and more foremost, just big up the public, because like I said before, we want to create a brand that's affordable to the masses on a regular basis. High numbers, but just try and hit those quality brackets, and the higher numbers that we get, the more quality we'll be delivering to the masses. So just love for the support. Cheatsandfees.co.uk. That's the home of my brand. Pass to the vault, you know what I mean? And just check it out on ASOS. And yeah, bro, like a lot of people see me as the forefront business, they see me, but I might get back to producing again.
I was going to ask you as well, like, where do you lie musically at the minute? Because in 2017, like, there's so much happening around us, and it's looking like the UK is about to take those.
There's a lot of great moves. There's a lot of great moves that should happen, and we're trying to make those moves happen. We're trying to bring something to the forefront, and once that gains its momentum, because I love to do a story on our life and stuff like that. So once it gains momentum, I would definitely start getting more creative, going back into the studio, bringing together a few creative people, new heads, songwriters, producers, as well as my team, my set of old school producers, Shab, Swiss, Stan the Man, and just try bring something together and just make it a UK sort of template effort, man.
It's definitely the time, and the climate is definitely right, man. Who are you feeling from the new generation of
I'm
guys
feeling
out there
everybody.
killing it?
I'm feeling Dave, Jay Huss, you know what I mean? Section Boys, Stormzy.
There's so much out there,
you know what I mean?
man.
Everybody that's come up in the past 5 years. Everyone else before that is like my generation, kinda. You know what I mean? Like, even like, not Gigs. Gigs is a little bit after us, but like the Skeptors, the Wileys, Gets, all of those Kanos, the best MCs in garage, man. The best rappers, hands down. Put any of these guys on a track with any artist across the world, and we will show them how it's done.
100%.
Right down to Swiss, my bro.
100%.
You know what I mean? So even right down to the young guys. So I think I might get back into executive producing and creating artists and bringing people as a business or as a franchise to the table, as like what I tried to do. Because when you're popular, brands want to throw their clothes on you.
Yeah.
But if we show them how to be a brand, then they can actually
throw your own clothes on.
Throw their own clothes, and those people that have clothing lines can sit back and help them run their business and just earn through giving them the ropes. Because we need more brands out here. We need more different car designs. We need more different everything designs. So whatever's happening worldwide, let's just keep it going 20, 50 years from now, you know what I mean?
Let's do it, man. Like, and it couldn't be said from a more concrete standpoint because you've literally been there, done it, and literally wearing the t-shirt, bro.
When we came up, like, there's so many model agencies were eating, so many video directors were eating, and now it's coming back round where people are gonna start getting their money's worth. You know what I mean? So shout out to everyone that's stuck in there. But yeah, blood, that beat, man. These people need to hear that.
Listen,
man.
like, we're gonna end. We
need to hear
time
that,
has flown. Like, this is another one of those ones when I'm like, we might even have to do a part 2 in a couple of months or something. But I might have to be.
You know
like,
what it is?
getting
Because
back
I
on
was
your phone
explaining
again,
to me
mate.
that so many different things inspired me to make certain music. And when I saw hip hop and music and that, I heard calypso.
Yeah.
I watched the cricket. And I was like,
They had, like, who knew, like, cricket in the 80s and 90s had a calypso rhythm.
Like the calypso rhythm. So I made a garage beat off of that sound. So,
Wow.
like, I kind of forgot, and I'm remembering myself because of all the things, all the interviews that I go back and look at and what people say about me. I'm remembering myself. I might have lost myself for a bit and thought, let me just chill back and let other people take positions that I once had.
Yeah.
But maybe I just need to step back in and just be me, and everybody be them, and then everything can just transcend in the right manner.
I feel like that's how it was meant to be,
So I
bro.
might need to produce again.
I feel like that's how it's meant to be, bro.
Yeah, I'll make some beats.
And you know where to send them beats.
I'll make some beats.
You need to make some noise in the building.
I'll make some beats.
For
man. I'll
Mega
make some
Man.
beats.
And I promise you we'd end on this one, Megs. Jeez. Crazy. In Depth with Mega Man. It's so solid. It's been great catching up, brother.
Yeah, I love, man. I love. Salute everybody in the music industry and the Brits, man. Vote for everybody in the Brits because it's a groundbreaking thing for the whole of the UK. The world's watching, man. It's the Oscars, it's the Grammys of the UK. You know what I mean? It's the Oscars of the film industry. You know how we do. Vote for your best artist, man, and let the streets win.
Well said, Mega.